Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another Prodota commentary done by Luminous. Joining me alongside here today is LD, and we are casting the finals of the qualifier number 2 for Prodota2 tournament. This is Next.KZ versus Infused. What's up, LD?
Oh, not too much, man. I'm really excited for this match. We are going to see both teams using one stand-in each. I believe Wagamama not able to make it, and I forget who the stand-in is on Next.KZ. I believe it's High Furry. Either way,
No,
they
I
won't.
is lucky from last game.
Okay, maybe it's Aidkin. I'm pretty sure they said they're using a stand-in. I could be wrong about that. Either way, this is only the European qualifier, but the games have been great so far. Without Wagamama, who is the in-game leader as well as the drafter for Infuse, we'll have to see how they adapt. But of course, the rest of the players are very familiar with each other. Going to be a lot of very mobile heroes banned out immediately. I want to say almost Southeast Asian style bans a little bit. Very Blake-oriented heroes. Of course, Surge, a good chasing skill, and then Furion, so a little bit more standard there, or Nature's Prophet rather. What do you think the two teams are going to go for this game?
LD, I think you're off to a great start on the analyzing and the pick and ban. I'm gonna let you finish, but I think Lucky has a crush on Fairy Fish. I'm just gonna say that out loud. Hi, Fairy. This is directed to Fairy Fish. I'm pretty sure. Anyways, there's a couple of interesting bans. The Blinker is being banned up here, and that might make me think that Infuse is gonna be going towards a strat very similar that they did in the game that we casted earlier today. Very gank heavy oriented. And then, gank their way to victory. So we might see another Zeus. Now, with all those blinkers out of the way, I wonder if Ricky will be picked up again. Because Ricky's kind of the hardcore de facto counter to these blinkers. You walk up to him, smoke and purge and all that stuff. But now with them out of the pool, I wonder if any teams will pick it up, even if it's left in the pool.
As we do see Beastmaster banned as well, maybe looking towards... Oh, Lycan throw. Very smart band. It's take out the Beastmaster. One of the best ways to counter the Lycan is that Beastmaster Roar, which goes through BKB. And Lycan, surprising that he got through the ban stage here. And I also will mention we haven't seen Syllabear Bander picked in any of these games, which is a little unusual, at least if you look back over the past 4 or 5 months of Dota action, especially in Dota 1. Syllabear definitely a top pick / ban, especially in the Chinese scene, but not seeing much play here. Lycan is going to be the first pick, though.
Yep. And for a third game in a row today, Shadow Demon, or excuse me, not Shadow Demon, Darkseer. You know when you say SD and then you flip it to get DS? That's how I got Shadow Demon into Darkseer. Like that, my mind works in mysterious ways. Darkseer getting banned or picked a third game in a row today, so he's becoming extremely relevant. Again, kind of coming out of nowhere. So this is fairly interesting. But I wonder what we're going to do here for the Lycan throw. Windrunner is an answer, as she is an answer for every situation and any situation. And the interesting thing is to see what comes next. Are we going to try to gank? Are we going to try to out-carry? Or are we going to try to out-push? Lycan throw presents many different difficult situations. He makes ganking a lot more difficult because he's very fast. He makes out-carrying very difficult because he approaches the peak a lot faster than most other carries. Seems like Next.KZ going for a very safe pick overall. Windrunner and Tai not revealing what they want to do, but still good enough to walk into this pick man stage.
One of the common ways to deal with Lycan, and because you were talking about what is going to be the strategy, one of the common ways is to go for a strong jungler and put him into an offensive role in the enemy jungle, usually paired with another support, so something like a Chen or an Enchantress. A decent way to shut down the Lycan, also aggressive warding, especially of the safe cam, can do it. At the same time, Lycan can usually be put into a lane and do okay, using the Wolves to last hit, so keeping the hero very far back. And at least getting some levels that way, which is the most important thing for him, because once he hits level 5, he can go into the jungle. And of course, he wants to get the Vlad's medallion up. I guess it's also worth noting this Lycan was picked onto the Dire side, which means we've been seeing Roshan has played a critical role in all of the games today. And certainly Lycan, one of the best heroes to handle Roshan with.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the whole jungling portion of this equation, because given that the fact that Dire had first pick here, they can pick up an Enchantress or Chen here, but that gives the Dire complete free reign to go into Enchantress or Chen as a counter themselves. They're going to ignore all of that. They are going to go for massive push. Enigma as a pusher, Leshrac as a pusher, so seems like Infuse wanting to end this game relatively quickly, or at least get themselves a very decisive lead.
Oh man, this is some scary push. I mean, we're not just talking about any old pushers, here's that are decent at it. We're talking about Lycan and Enigma, two of the best summon-based pushers, and then of course Leshrac, whose Edict is the best pushing skill in the game in the earlier stages. So a nice mix of magical damage as well as summons. They'll have some good ability to tank the towers, and of course they still have that Diabolic Edict to damage up the tower. So even if the creep wave gets destroyed, they still have other ways to do a lot of damage to it. It's going to be tough, and it's really going to come down to this Chen, in my opinion. He's got to keep the Lycan down early. Or if the Enigma's in the jungle, whoever's in the jungle has to be shut down. Not only that, if someone, let's say Lycan is in the safe lane, maybe with a support, if the jungle gets warded off, you really want to see Chen, especially once he hits level 5, but even earlier on, using those creeps to harass the Lycan, maybe even dive the tower, push the tower early on. Don't let the Scourge get a good start, because once that snowball gets rolling, it's going to be very difficult to stop.
Yep, I completely agree. And I'm just before we get into the new hero pick and ban, I want to say I will pay money to see Mini play the Enigma again, because it was so impressive the way that he played it in the first game we casted. The interesting item progressions, the way he dropped his black hole, it was all very different from the standard, but it worked out perfectly. So, and it's going to be Venomancer, so yet another pusher. We're lacking the stuns. We only have a Malefice and a Split Earth, but hey, don't matter, because those towers, they don't really run. All you got to do is kill them and you get more gold. So Venomancer is going to be the pick here, going to provide some little bit more teamfight potential. We did see very interesting Lesh build, I think the other day, being played out from there. Split Earth max into 1 point into Diabolic, 1 point into Lightning, and 1 point in Pulse Nova, and it worked out perfectly in that game. And when you have, I guess, Poison Nova in the middle, that might be a pretty good build to also go. So we'll see how Infused is going to be played to Lesh.
Yeah, I'm looking at Infused heroes. I would love to see a Puck as a final pick. He was very popular for a while to combo with the Lycanthrope, and the reason for that is his ultimate allows you to hold everyone in place. If they try to run, then they get stunned, and it makes it a lot easier for Lycan to pick heroes off. It would also give them an off-lane solo option, or he could be put into the middle lane. So I think he'd be a good choice here, and of course he is available. It would give them a little bit more team fight. The silence great against casters like Chen, like Windrunner. If you probably won't see a Puck get off to a fast start if he ends up being picked, because he'll most likely be in a difficult lane. But I still think he would fit in nicely with their lineup.
Mirana is the choice here, and that's a very, very bold pick, because Mirana early on does have very, very little counter pushing ability. I'm sure she does have an AoE on paper, but you gotta keep in mind that Starfall, or the Star Storm as it's called in Dota 2, has a very low cast range. You gotta really be holding hands with the creep wave to actually cast it to hit everything, and that's the time where you're gonna eat nukes and stuns coming your way. So I don't feel like this is a pick that will really counter push. If you look at the counter pushing power of the Radiant squad, they got a power shot. That's pretty much it. They got some big creeps. Those are pretty high in HP. But I don't know about this Mirana pick, and I guess they feel like they're confident enough where they go into mid-game where the Mirana will be a big deal. And a Tinker pickup. Oh, we're going to see some Invisible Wolf being TP'd upon, and it's going to be great.
Oh, man, that is the only concern I have for Infused lineup is very farm dependent. Even Leshrac, although he can play support, one of the most farm and level dependent supports, they do have the option to jungle with either the Lycan or the Enigma, but I'm still a little bit concerned in terms of them being able to, especially in like the first 4 to 5 minutes, deal with this Chen. And I go back to Chen. I really think it's up to him. If he's able to get a good start, shut down the Tinker, shut down the Lycan. It's also going to be hard, though, because there's so many heroes you have to shut down. If anyone on the Dire gets a good start between the Lycan, the Tinker, and I would argue the Leshrac, you're going to have it's probably enough to give the other heroes the space they need to catch up.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Next.KZ squad and be like, this would be a great lineup if you're picking up against gankers.
Ooh. Oh, man.
Syllabear, I mean, Next.KZ, as if they're just picking a lineup that will face against no pressure coming their way, and I sorely don't think that's the case. It's going to be pressure from start to finish. And Infused, I mean, we saw that game where they picked the Zeus. They know how to handle the pressure. They know how to actually push hard and fast. So, of course, Tinker is going to be grabbing the mid lane soon. Maybe it's going to be a top protected lane. And are we going to see that new Tinker, the March of the Machine Tinker? We'll see.
I believe there was actually a bug in Dota 2 where March was doing more damage than it should. This was when Bulba popularized it along with Demon for EG. I think they were the first people to really max March first, stack up the Ancients, and then use March to farm them. That being said, March is still a very good spell, even after the quote-unquote fix to it. So I wouldn't mind seeing that, but I feel like go laser and rocket. Let Lycan be the one who farms a little bit more and create space for him. I think it's honestly March in theory is better for pushing as it kills off the creep wave, but I actually think that missile and laser are better in the sense that it makes it very dangerous for the enemy to even defend the tower because of the range and sheer burst damage potential of that combo.
Actually, I mean, you could get the best of both worlds. You go for the rocket and the March. Laser is not really much needed, especially not against this lineup. The mischance, not the biggest. I guess if you want to throw against a Syllabear Bear in the mid late game, but no reason to pick up early. The good thing about March build first is that you are going to pick up your ultimate at level 6. And if you pick up an early Soul Ring, which I assume Region will, you will get the benefit of the missiles and still have the March. So I think that's what he's going to end up doing. But yes, the standard laser rocket build will still be very, very good. But just to introduce the players for Infused Squad, Region's going to be playing the Tinker. We have Fishbone playing the Venomancer. Mini again, yes! Playing that Enigma. We have Arturia playing the Lycanthrope and Fada or ATA playing the Lesh.
Meanwhile, over on the Radiant side, we're going to have 570 on the Tidehunter, Mantis handling that Mirana, Furryfish's #1 fan, who I believe you said was Lucky playing that Chen. Not sure who the Windrunner is, Aitken and Bacon Heart. Beacon, I'm probably mispronouncing that. Playing the Windrunner, and Equal going to be on that Syllabear. I think the last time we saw Equal, he was in a support role, so they seem to be pretty flexible with those, maybe because they're using a stand-in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love seeing the Lone Druid versus the Lycan. I think it's a pretty fun matchup, but I don't know. Lone Druid takes a decent amount of time to get going. He's okay in the lane early on, but he's not going to do too much to stop the pushes until like 25 minutes in, by which point it is probably too late, at least if Infused plays their cards right. This is going to be a tough game.
I really want to just like put the microphone in the hands of Next.KZ player right now and like explain to us why the hell are they picking this lineup. It just makes little to no sense. Maybe they're hoping that Next.KZ won't, or Infused won't push, but that's very, very unlikely. I'm very curious how the laning is going to be end up for both these teams, because with these heroes in play, we have a lot of flexibility in terms of laning. Windrunner could go into, we could see double jungle and 3 solo for the Radiant. Same thing here for the Dire. We could see support Windrunner. We could see farming Tide. Like, there's just so much different thing that we could be seeing here.
Yeah, I mean, my best guess is the Syllabear farming in the safe lane, probably the Mirana mid, Tidehunter maybe supporting the Syllabear, doing some pulling, and then offensive jungle Chen with Windrunner in the top lane. But like you said, there's a lot of different options that could work. As for the Dire, I'm guessing we'll probably see Enigma bottom. I think that would make sense just to try and slow down the farm of the Syllabear a little bit. And of course, Enigma, a decent side lane solo, even in the suicide lane, because of his ability like Lich to help prevent the lane from getting pushed too much. So it's very open right now, but that's just my guess in terms of how we'll see the lanes. I'd Tinker mid would most likely be the case. Oh, man, there's a lot of options, though.
I'm reading a chat in the comments like Luminous is your graphics card is about to explode. I don't know why it's doing that flutter thing. Maybe the graphics card is like so excited for this game that it is going into combustion mode as well. A very interesting way to lane this actually is to go Lycan top solo and then try bot with the 3 casters, solo mid, Tinker, to get a pushing lineup going, but that's just my fantasy land. And in fact, that's exactly what they're not going to do.
That's the thing about casting. As soon as you try to predict the lanes, you're going to be wrong. As we do see some nice scouting with the bear here. I guess they're maybe fearful of a level 1 Roshan attempt.
Yeah,
which is a possibility.
Diabolic Edict and wards and everything else, but seems like Lycan is going to be laning. You see that he picked up Stout Shield, so he is going to be going into A lane, and I do assume it's going to be top.
Yeah, I guess he'll be top, supported by the Leshrac, so Leshrac will get some pull opportunity. Venomancer soloing bot. Looks like Lycan offensive jungling. I think he's expecting his can't to be warded off. Meanwhile, Mini getting a little bit running into something of a danger zone, but it's going to back off and be A-okay. And this is a smart choice to put Lycan offensive jungle, at least as far as the camps are concerned. We are going to see an offensive jungling Chen, and he's going to be warding the pull as well from the looks of it.
I don't know if I like this choice, especially if he's not starting out with Crawling Blade to go a jungle build. Maybe he's just long laning bot.
I don't know. How do you feel about that? That seems like
so strange.
He's not going to have a good time against Syllabear. Syllabear definitely can beat Lycan 101 in the lane. But with the Venomancer and support, it'll probably be fine for him. In fact, he might get some decent farm. Interesting build by Equal. He started with boots on the bear.
Wow.
I haven't seen this before. I mean, it's very common to get boots quickly on the bear, but normally you get some stats on the hero. Maybe a stout shield or even a quelling blade on the bear, depending on how likely you are to be harassed.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna. I mean, you could rush a quick boots, but hey, we got some bear on wolves action. And this is gonna be a dual lane bot. I guess a very strong lane protection here. They knew that Chen is gonna be going offensive jungle. They knew trying to have a Lycan to get protected farm on the top lane would be a mere dream. So they're gonna put it on the bot, and they read it perfectly. Infused. Just before the first minute is up, they're having some kind of advantage. If you think about it that way, it looks like we're gonna have a little fight in the jungle, but 6 Eidolons is not what you want to fight with. So well, I guess you could stop and try to farm off the Eidolons. Hopefully they will be micro though.
Yeah, well, the nice thing about this is Enigma is not actually jungling, and he's blowing that precious mana. He does have a couple clarities, not the biggest deal in the world. But slowing down an Enigma's farm not as important as slowing down a Lycan's. So it's kind of a shame. This offensive jungle Chen not going to be as effective as perhaps they'd hope. Meanwhile, Syllabear's Bear already down to half health, taking a lot of harassment between the Lycan's Wolves as well as the Venomancer, who is going for point and Gale, point Poison Sting. I'm guessing we'll see wards just to go with the pushing lineup. I'd be very surprised if we didn't, but for now, going pretty offensive.
You were talking about how Furry Fish's fan here has to be the X factor for this lane. Yeah, he could still be it. He could still go for that gank on the top lane, backstab with Centaur, and go for gank with Manta hitting the arrow. Or Mantis, excuse me. And Fanta is a very, very easy hero to bring down, the Lesh. He is getting the tower protection right now. Does have 2 level in Diabolic Gating and 1 in Splitter. Always very interesting to see the different build of the players. And the bear is going to have to get resummoned on the bot lane again. It's very, very low.
Oh,
it's
no.
Actually, it went down. Wow, Aturia got himself a 300 gold, and that was... that's not what you want for that Lycan early on.
Not only that, but Equal also has to use his precious tangos. I say precious because he only started with 3. He is farming pretty well, though, already up to 500 gold, which, considering the lane is not bad, as we both missed that gank, I think. Either way...
I missed it, huh?
I missed it, but I guess you caught it, so...
No, I didn't.
Okay, yeah, it was a... looks like a Chen and a hasted Tidehunter, so probably a Centaur Stomp was used, as well as a Gush, combined with the Power Shot. And that's a big kill. I think Tinker is the other hero that really has to be kept down, along with the Lycan, because if he gets a fast Boots of Travel, or even a quick Soul Rain Boots bottle, he becomes really annoying to deal with. So good at anti-pushing, so good at harassing, and decent at pushing on his own, if not ganked. So an important kill. That's going to delay his Boots by quite a bit. He's still 400 gold away from those. Meanwhile, Windrunner about 600 gold ahead of him.
And my question is will it be enough for having both Lycan and the Tinker enough to drive off the pressure from each other? Because if you're playing on the Radiant side, you're saying, okay, I got to deal with the Tinker, as we see Mini in a little bit of trouble on the top lane. I got to deal with the Tinker, and I got to deal with the Lycan. Who I actually deal with, Furry Fish fan, is going to go... I keep saying Furry Fish because I see the name as High Furry. But Lucky here just got brought down very easily, being too aggressive, and well, his aggression did not pay off. He does have the Tro, so he actually can send him mid lane. But what I was about to say is, where will the ganks go through us? The bear dies once again on the bot. Jesus, this Boots first bear is not working out. But will the Radiant side focus on the Lycan and make sure he gets ganked down, or will it be Tinker? Because you're not going to shut down both.
Yeah, and that's the power of the Scourge, or this... keep on saying Scourge, apologies, the Dire lineup, is that they have enough heroes that are dangerous that you have to shut them all down. And it's just hard to pick the right lineup that can do that. I gotta say, Equal really misplaying here, losing that bear twice so early. One thing you can do is send it back to the fountain if it gets low in health, and just at least keep your hero in EXP range. Of course, he cannot teleport it back to himself. I believe until it hits level 3, right? Or actually, no, he gets return at level 3, so he could even return it, but instead he's going to lose the bear, which means he has absolutely no lane control for a while now.
Well, he is farming on some Plague Words, so that's the extent of his farm. Moving on the top lane here, we do have level 4 on the Slash. Mantis is pretty much free farming, getting the support from the Titan. Here we go, we have the node. That's going to miss the Split Earth. And I think they're going to try to push down this tower. It might be somewhat difficult, because you know that the Enigma's going to come in. We're going to have Fata fight Lucky. Lucky's going to be dead for sure, and that's one more death. Arrow's going to hit on Fata, but a quick teleportation here from Fishbone. Good recognition, and the fact that he kept up teleport scroll is what I want to applaud, because not many support players do.
Yeah, that was a great TP, and this, I don't know if this Chen is lagging or if he's just not reacting quickly enough. But you cannot run next to Leshrac without even a single creep to tank. Even if he's only got level 1 Edict, that stuff hurts pretty bad, and of course it's a level 2 Edict. It's going to be level 3 soon. This is the lane that the Radiant needed to win, and they're just getting absolutely destroyed up here, even though they've had the numerical advantage for most of the game so far.
Well, I wouldn't say they're getting destroyed, because Mantis is getting some decent farm. 22 and 16 denies, so Fatta's experience growth hasn't been the best in terms of the creeps. But hey, if you're getting two kills from Chen, that, you know, even things up. Back in the mid lane here, three-fourths, whatever. He's getting a lot of farm. 26 and 13. There's a gush on the top lane. Fatta might go down. We could see a leap and a Starstorm. No, Starstorm's on cooldown. He's not going to chase with the arrow either. So Fatta's going to salve up after taking some big hits. Back on the bot lane, the bear gets resummoned. That's a level 7 bear now. So he's actually going to get better lane control now with the... I'm clicking on the spear bear. It says level 7. And
yeah, I think that's a bug. That's a level 3 bear. But he goes for an early Orb of Venom, so looking for a little bit more harassment, building up the bear. Not going to... Obviously, with a slower start, rushing something like a Relic, not the smartest thing to do. Probably going to see Phase Boots next on the bear. And then my question is, how is he going to build it? We've seen the past... in the qualifier number 1, I think we cast Syllabear a couple times. We saw a very supportive Syllabear rushing, I believe it was a mechanism, or maybe it was a pipe, but not really getting any damage items, and he was very low impact. Then we saw a more traditional Syllabear going for Radiance, Assault Cuirass, so it's... obviously, the hero is flexible in terms of how you build him, but I think he's got to go big because they only have a Mirana, who's a decent carry, but you know, not going to be hitting their stride until much later in the game, especially compared to a Lycan, as well as a Tinker.
An interesting way to play this is actually use Syllabear as a tank, and as a straight-up tank, you actually have to focus him. He does Entangle, which actually goes through BKB, can't stop the Lycan. Mantis is getting a lot of farm, so if they want to use Mirana as a true carry, that can be done. I mean, the hero is very capable of doing that, and Mirana is not an easy hero to gank as well because of that leap and the Moonlight Shadow. So that is an option. What is the option that they'd like to take? We'll have to see. The fact that they're dedicating Lone Druid as a farmer on the bot, I don't think that's what we'll be expecting, but he's actually lane controlling very decently now. That boots on the bear, and is going to be going for phase boot like you talked about. He's going to have it now probably, yes. And now Lycan's actually going to get outlaned here, believe it or not.
Uh-oh, Lycan might be in some trouble. No, it looks like Chen's going to back off. If Lycan or Syllabear ever gets an entangle on the Lycan, well, you could see a net to follow. Or they could just push this lane. Lycan's not the best anti-pusher, especially early on. His wolves are decently tanked, but they're more there for the damage than they are for delaying the push and soaking up damage. So we'll have to see, but Chen only level 3, just really not having a good start.
So Region may be taking a lesson from your stream, is that he is maxing the heat-seeking missile, which is a great tool for these early game pushing team fight engagement. He is going to be taking Marcher Machine as his secondary spell with 1 point into laser, no point into his rearm yet, which makes sense if you think about it. Nothing really to rearm. You don't have the big mon to really spam through. You're not going to get a Soul Ring very early either. So he's about 1,000 go away from that Boots to Travel, though. Let's see what he's going to do with the Boots to Travel afterwards. He's going to just TP in the lane and harass with a lot of rockets. He's going to farm more. Again, Tinker is one of those here that also has a lot of options in terms of item choices and also the way to play the hero.
Yeah, I mean, if this somehow goes incredibly late, I think the teams are pretty evenly matched. Windrunner, Mirana, and Syllabear are all pretty strong late game heroes, but of course, Lycan, Leshrac, and Tinker are pretty decent as well. So, you know, the question is, normally I would say, like, if you have a Lycan on your team, let the Tinker be the one who's active around the map, pushing, ganking. Let the Lycan farm, go for Roshan, and look for him to carry the 20-30 minute mark. I still think the Scourge has the edge during that time frame, as long as Lycan doesn't get too slowed down by this difficult lane bottom. But eventually, you know, it could end up hurting them if they don't have a little bit more farm on the Tinker. Oh, nice arrow on Enigma. Enigma going to get caught out here. He's going down for sure. And Leshrac doing what he can from the high ground is going to have to back off. 4 heroes for the Radiant top. But it looks like they might go for a tier 1 tower push.
Yeah, using Lone Druid as an active ganker and having Face Boot and the Orb of Venom very helpful in that regard. We're going to see yet another Lone Druid build without taking the ultimate at 6. I guess this is a consensus between the pro players. That's 3 different pro players not getting level 6 ultimate, which I am still baffled about. But hey, they are pushing. They are being on the offensive. We've been harping about how good the Dire is pushing, but it is the Radiant that's going to draw the first blood on tower, and looks like Fatta's going to go down. A teleportation comes in from the Mini, but he has to run as well. Tower's not going to get defended. Are we going to see a good deny here from Mini? He's going to try. He's going to try. No. at least attempt, man.
Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, High Furry Fish is getting dove pretty aggressively. Might die to the wolves here, actually. Not even trying to run away. Sends nukes a wolf. It's gonna die to the wolves. Oh man, that poor Chen. So a decent trade. If you can't defend the tower, go punish the underleveled squishy support who's in the bottom lane. Lycan, of course, great for tower diving, but not only because he runs very quickly when he pops the ult, but also because the wolves can be used to tank, as well as finish off low HP heroes.
Yep, and then this is exactly what I'm talking about Lycan drawing attention, force a TP on the bot lane. We had top lane really being defended upon by the dire side. Who is paying attention to the Tinker free farming the mid lane? That's kind of the dilemma. Do you actually pay attention to Tinker, or do you pay attention to the Lycan? It's really a difficult choice, and Infused is, you know, really taking advantages. Tinker, by the way, 400 gold to that BOT, and after that BOT, he just kind of worked over the most difficult stage of his game. After you get the BOT, everything is just smooth sailing on that point on.
Yeah, and this is very impressive. I mean, he has been left alone a decent amount, but he gave up first blood. He was 600 gold behind a Windrunner who, you know, that's a big deal early on if you don't have boots and the enemy hero has boots and some money in the bank. But he's been able to recover, and it's partially due to the Windrunner leaving the lane. Also, haven't been any more ganks as Chen was trying to support the bottom lane a little bit. So it's a game of trade-offs. Now the issue is you saw them group up mid. They wanted to push that middle lane, but you just can't push against Tinker without your entire team. And even then, as long as he's able to spam the rockets and the magic missiles, it can be trouble. Ata getting scouted out here. I thought he was invis, but maybe I'm wrong. He's gonna go.
Ata taking some big damage. Shaco Shot's gonna lash him to the trees, and the net, that troll net, by the way, is doing some work. It's like third or fourth time I've seen net.
Bottom lane, Fishbone gets hit by an arrow. Is gonna go down to a Starfall. Nicely played by Mantis. I'm really feeling more confident. And this is, you know, the power of that farming Mirana. If he hits a good arrow, it's gonna be a kill, especially on a very underfarmed Venomancer who's only got boots and a wand.
Mirana 11 minutes in, 52 creep kills and 22 denies. Face boot and Besades up. Let's see if it's going to finish that Aquila. Seems like she's going to be going for a long-term farming Mirana, so the next item will be a Mantisau, I assume. Unless we're going to see some creative builds. I think Mirana is one of the few heroes that has a lot of ability to go into different items, but the builds that we often seen are very uncreative. Same old Manta into either BKB or MKB.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing something like maybe a Mjolnir this game, as it is a pretty good way to help kill off minions. Of course, that's not the only thing you have to deal with from the Scourge. It doesn't do anything for survivability, so I'm not saying it would necessarily be the best choice, but at least at some point in the game it might be a good situational pickup.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not as good against BKB, but
there's just so many different builds. Like, you know, minus into S and Y for some early game DPS. It's just a lot of stuff. Furry Fish, by the way, Furry Fish's fan gets initiated upon, but it's Mini that's in trouble. Ravage being used just for one.
That was not necessary, but it's okay. They're gonna get a tower out of it. They could have gone for 2, I believe, if they hadn't blown the Ravage there. Maybe they're gonna go for Roshan here. I don't know if they can.
Wow.
I don't know if they can do this quick enough. I would go for the tower. It looks like they might be rethinking their plan.
Here comes Tinker. You don't want to get Shaco shot up. Indeed, he will. The Gush is going to be right there, and the Ravage is not going to be necessary again. Infused. They are not supposed to lose this early game, but in fact, they are losing it badly. 7-4 in the favor of the Radiant side of Radiant is about to take its second tower. Meanwhile, they got none of their own, and now they might even get the Venomancer. Venomancer, any slows, any stuns? No, just yet.
They're not able to get in range. Not going to see an entangle there. Yeah, I mean, this is very impressive, and I think a very smart choice, looking back on it a little bit now, by Equal to go for a more useful team-oriented build early on. Not trying to rush a Relic, not trying to go for Hand of Midas, although you don't normally see that in a pro game anyway. But going for very supportive items, immediately helping to push towers. This is where Syllabear shines, and he doesn't need a lot of items to do it. Of course, it's great if you get a Radiance and an Assault Cuirass and a billion other items on the Bear. But we've seen he's already got 2 towers for his team, and now he's at a point where the Bear is pretty buffed, the Hero is pretty survivable. Once he gets the pipe, it might be the Radiant who are the ones looking to do all the pushing.
I feel like a Dire right now need to get something going, whether it's going to be in the form of a gank or a tower push. They cannot just sit around here and wait for the push coming their way, because as much as, again, I talked about the pushing power of the Dire, they don't really have as much defensive power. You got the wards, you got some Eidolons. That's pretty much it. The Marcher Machine, on paper, a very good defensive spell, but again, the casting animation is just so awkward You have to get very close to make sure that Marching Machine does hit a lot, but in that sense, you're going to hit by Shackle Shot, Gush, Arrow, things like that. So you got to stay far back. The Rocket Spam also sounds very good on paper, but when you're dealing with Hand of God, you can actually deal with the Lone Druid. He's sitting in the front, tanking one of the rockets, and he has the Hood of Defiance, so he doesn't care. Yeah, Tinker, if you don't give him that farming room, he does have to be OT right now, but if you don't give him the farming room, he's not going to give you that return, that investment that you put in. And so far, I don't think they're getting it. Right now, we have a Roshan attempt from the Lycan, but I think he's scouted.
Yeah, we saw about 1 billion pings coming out from the Radiant. Pretty unfortunate time for Infused to pause right as they're starting off a Roshan attempt. But of course, you need your whole team in the game. Having that pause does mean that if Next.KZ didn't already suspect the Roshan, they have plenty of time to evaluate the map and figure out that he's there. Lycan without Medallion, actually not that quick at doing Roshan. He can do it, it just takes him a long time. He'll have the Venomancer wards and support, but they're not really going to dish out too much damage. And I don't think this attempt is going to work. The thing is the Ravage is down, though, which might be why they wanted to go for it. So if that ends up being the case... I mean, if they end up getting this Aegis, it's probably going to be because that Ravage was wasted mid, which could be a big deal.
And even if he doesn't get the Ravage, that's fine, because, you know, Fata's pushing on the top lane. No one is in his vicinity. If he draws a TP scroll, then that makes Lycans a little bit easier. So the multi-pressure, the fact of the pushing, the potential of having pushing heroes, that would help. But yeah, I don't think Arturia is going to stay long enough to find out whether he could or could not do it. But where's that Tinker right now? Tinker's in base, so he could actually joining a push on the top lane, or maybe join a team fight. So having the mobility is very, very helpful. His next item choice should be a Slow Ring. After that should be a Force Staff. So there's a lot of items for him to go through. Speaking of Force Staff, Windrunner has one, and a very, very good choice to actually go for Force Staff first before Mecha, because I think she's going to leave the Mecha for the Chen to pick up. And Mecha right now, not really too useful in my opinion, but having more mobility for those Shackle Shot, a lot more important.
Yeah, the Dire has so much burst damage, especially if you pick up the Mecha on the Chen right now. He's probably going to... There's a decent chance he'll die before he gets to use it, especially if he gets caught out. Syllabear, of course, is pretty tank, so he could look to at least harass this Roshan attempt with the Bear. He is scouting it, letting the Dire know that, in fact, the Roshan attempt has been scouted. But meanwhile, the top lane is going to be getting pushed. Hasted Enigma here. I think this is a dead tower. I don't see them defending it. We're going to see the power of Edict combined with the Eidolon just absolutely melting it. Maybe they'll go for 2 with Ravage down.
No, there's a Glyph. Looks like they're going to try. Yeah, the Creepwave gets mowed down, and TIE Hunter comes in, the Syllabear comes in. Yeah, it's going to be defended. Wow, very surprising. And now, of course, here comes the Rocket Spam. Yeah, I think the Radiant side will be able to tank that. 570 gets a little bit more time to get his Ravage back on cooldown. Yeah, he's going to have it for the next team fight, so they could go for a big push. Meanwhile, the team is pushing bot. And they're going to take yet another tier 1 tower just off the pushing power of a single Chen.
Yeah, this Mirana getting very farmed. Has the Yasha. Looks like that will be the choice. A Diffusal Blade, I guess, could be an option, but I expect to see the Yasha. Which, phase boots Yasha, I think, very smart this game. You want to be able to run away from Lycan, as well as, you know, dodge that Leshrac stun, which, of course, is pretty hard to hit. Tangle on Venomancer in the middle lane, but in comes Tinker in support, and that's going to force him back.
And here's the point of the game where having a laser would be very, very important to really mitigate the DPS output of that Syllabear. And I think that might be a reason why Equal is adjusting his build a little bit. It's nice to have 1 billion damage on your bear, but it's not so nice when it's actually missing every time when it attacks because of the laser. And you actually can just rearm laser, as odd as that sounds, that disables the Syllabear. Like, the Syllabear as a hero doesn't do anything, in a sense. And actually very odd to see that the region actually going back to his laser now, away from the Marching Machine. So a very odd skill build for a Tinker player.
5 heroes getting grouping up bottom, and the Ravage is back up. A nice arrow hitting on Venomancer. So I don't think they're going to go on him. Lycan's going to be the choice, almost in range for the Ravage is tied, but in fact he's not. The push is going to continue. Meanwhile, top tower being defended by Mirana, so Next.KZ not willing to give anything up. I think this tower might go down. The arrow's been used, so they're not going to be able to defend it. Bottom tower slowly being sieged, but they don't have the creeps going their way yet. Mini going to continue pushing. I think this is time to back off.
Mirana denies the tower, so nothing going for Infused.
Oh man, right how did I miss that? But big deny, especially versus the Eidolons and the hero. It's very difficult to do.
And now, of course, the wards are dropped down, but they are not really doing too much. The tower is slowly being sieged on. Not the biggest DPS output here, especially with the Mirana not being there. But Mirana is already phasing her way down. Yasha is completed. And I think they could just keep staying here. Tinker is doing what he does best, which is annoy with rocket spam. But again, the effect of those rocket is just not enough. It's not enough damage. Hand of God's gonna mitigate everything. And the Eagle is like, you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna put my hero in position and blow it down as well. Tower focusing the down bear. He's gonna resummon. I assume. Resummon. There you go.
Oh, nice dodge on the hero while sending the bear in to harass the Venoman. So I think they're gonna get tower. Good shackle shot on Atta, but they're actually not going in. It might have been an opportunity. They still have the Ravage. I think Ravage should be dropped soon. Oh, only hitting one hero. That's a bad Ravage. Lycan gonna run rampant now. They have no way to deal with him. At the moment, Shen gonna hopefully send someone back to base. Actually, Mirana ultimate being very effective, allowing most of their heroes to dodge. Looks like Windrunner gonna get away. Meanwhile, the chase continues. High Furry Fish gonna die. Equal, no TP on the hero. Chen not able to send him back to base. I guess he sent someone else back. Do they not know Equal's here? I think they assume he got sent back, so he might actually be able to make it out alive.
Wow. The most...
Oh! Arrow on Arturia, or EGM rather, Heart Arturia, but that's not going to amount to anything. Man, I think he's going to get away here.
Well, he's going to try to run south. Maybe, no, he's going to run to the left. He's going to end up scouting in the wards. Mini not really in position to help out. Oh my goodness, Equal. The war finally does come out, and right now the reaction in the Infused chat is like, what the hell was that? Why? How did we miss that bear? It's completely crazy.
And of course, Lycan having the same ideas I was about to say. After that Ravage was blown in the Mirana ultimate, the Chen ultimate, good time to go straight into Roshan, especially the Syllabear bear even dead. So really nothing the Radiant can do to stop this, except spam their abilities. They're going to try. Invisible Windrunner coming in. Do we have any detection? I don't think we do. Black Hole is still available, but we might see a 2-hero shackle shot. This could be absolutely game-changing. Looks like he's trying to get it timed perfectly. Oh, the Edict destroying Windrunner. She's so low. I don't know if they're going to be able to do anything here.
There was a Sentry War on the ground, and they got her down. We do have Black Hole just on the Tie Hunter. Mirana doing some big damage. She's very low in terms of HP. Mance is very low. Give me a laser right to your face. No laser, no region. What do you do? He gets sent back here. That's going to be fine because the Rages now will go to Infuse. And that is the momentum shift that I was talking about. They need to get something going. They will get the go here from the Aegis. Lycan will get the Aegis as well. And they could actually transition to a bot push. Windrunner is dead. Tie Hunter is dead. Mirana forced to heal back. And yeah, that was a big win for Infused.
Yeah, Infused just does so much damage between the Venomancer ultimate, of course the Gale and the wards, the Enigma doing a decent amount of damage with the Eidolons these fights, Leshrac doing crazy magical damage, and who could forget Lycan and Tinker. So the damage on the Radiant is really item dependent. They really need items on the Syllabear, items on the Mirana, and I guess to a lesser degree the Windrunner. Aside from that, their supports don't do damage, so it's just very difficult to bring anyone down. And of course, not having the Ravage in a Roshan fight like that, absolutely devastating. Speaking of Ravage, Lycan very close to BKB. Once that's picked up, they're not going to have much of an answer for him. The best thing they can hope for is Entangle, or perhaps Windrunner just trying to run away from him. But I'm sure this Lycan will be smarter than to focus with Windrunner.
Not only that, Lesh is going for BKB as well, and he's about, what, 600-700 go away, and one C finish. Well, goodbye, Tie Hunter. I mean, again, Tie Hunter is one of those heroes good for about 25-30 minutes, and afterwards he becomes sadder and sadder as life goes on. Kind of emo if you think about it. Mini probably going to go for Blacking Bar as well, but before he's going to go for Tread, so he's going to be going for a very tank build. Vada very low, he's going to get picked off, and that was a huge pick off on the top lane because they keep on delaying that BKB, makes the Tie Hunter a little bit more useful, but can they make it out there? We do have Tinker coming back in, no chase being attempted, double TP out here, and what a good escape for the Radiant guys.
Yeah, like you said, fantastic pick off, delaying that BKB, cannot be overstated. Mirana arrowing a creep, it might have been a misclick there. Looks like Syllabear wanting to pressure this middle lane. Speaking of item progression, I was wondering where the Radiant's gold is because I'm really not seeing it in their items. In fact, it's Syllabear sitting on 2.5k. Once he gets that Radiance, that could be pretty important. Enigma not going for a Blink Dagger. Of course, Radiant's a decent way to shut that down. But I don't know how much it's really going to matter. I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you think Radiance is going to be a game changer like it can be for Syllabear, or is it not going to really affect too much this game?
I think Radiance will increase the Syllabear's DPS output for quite a bit of time, especially how well Syllabear can shut down a Lycan throw, BKB or not. And of course, there's so many BKBs on the enemy team. Syllabear Entangle is one of the few ways to go through it. Now, that has nothing to do with the Radiance itself, though. I mean, the Radiance doesn't add to more Entangle procs or anything like that. It just gives him more DPS, which isn't bad, but if you think about it, right now Syllabear is so tanky. Like, he's not worried about survivability anymore. So, I don't see any other item outside of Radiance that he should be getting. Like, Can you suggest one? I'm really not sure what he should
No,
be
I
getting
mean,
instead.
the only thing I could think of is maybe completing a pipe, but that does nothing for you in terms of dealing with the Lycan, and I guess along the lines of what I was saying earlier, I still think they lack damage. Once Mirana gets the Manta, that'll be a start, but Manta not the biggest DPS item, more of a mixture. You know, it's good because it gives you a nice balance between survivability as well as damage, not because it gives you some crazy damage output. But Equal just feeling very confident right now, farming aggressively in the bottom lane. Another benefit to killing off that tier 2 tower early is that you can farm much more safely. So Radiant actually having better map control this game.
Well, that map control will be tested soon, as Infused is going to be leading a smoke gank, and interestingly, Mini is going to be the one leading the charge. I don't think that's the best of choice. Here comes Fishbone. He's still going to switch the order. You're going to see someone. Syllabear's to your right. They're going to check the left first. They're going to see Chen, and Chen's going to be the target. Hunter does not have the Ravage. Going to blow the ultimate there as well. The Furry fan is going to go down. Lucky, goddamn, that was his name. Here comes Shackle Shot. That's going to slow down Arturia, and they're going to keep chasing. 570 will have the Ravage in just 40 seconds. He's spotted. He's going to be done, and that's going to be a 2-kill here. Mini being focused on by the tower. Mirana's going to go on top of him, but he's very, very tanky, having the Mega and the Strength Treads. They're still alive, very healthy in terms of HP. Here comes the bear. The Entangle was on Fishbone, but she's not enough. They're going to chase down the bear and make sure he does not... Oh my god, that bear. Freaking Tokyo drifting down that bot lane. It's just too damn fast.
Yeah, are we going to see Equal survive here? He's in a really bad spot. This is a very strange fight. Kind of a flanking maneuver coming in from the Syllabear. And he's doing his best to cut these heroes off, but I think Enigma might be the one who dies. No! Shackle Shot. Oh, going to latch to a wolf, not catching the Lycan. That could have been a double kill. He still got the BKB, pops the ultimate and the BKB. Oh, I think Enigma's going to die. He's so low. Lycan absolutely murdering everyone along with his companion Leshrac. So much damage coming out. Shackle Shot of the Taker, but there's just no follow-up, and Syllabear not really able to do too much. Still trying to kill Enigma. I can't believe this Enigma is not dead yet. Lycan ultimate is down. Are they going to be able to catch him? Windrunner looking for a perfect Shackle Shot. Might be able to get it. Oh, a big Ravage. Oh, and Lycan going to go down too. Huge fight coming out for the Radiant. Are they going to be able to lock down Lycan again? They should have the Stomp of the Centaur. No, they don't. But I believe his ultimate, yet not level 16. Ultimate has a long cooldown. He should be going down here. Oh man, this is a big fight for the Radiant. They blow the Aegis, they win the fight, they get the Enigma Black Hole cooldown to be used. And Syllabear, that much closer to his Radiance, magically did not die, even though there were 5 dire heroes chasing him back towards the tier 1 bottom. Oh,
wow,
geez.
Man, that fight, the fight that Infused decides to take in between 2 tier 1 and tier 2 towers, why was that fight taken? I felt like they chased and they realized, oh shoot, we are in deep territory, and that was really big trouble for them, because anytime the Radiant heroes spawn, and because we're so early in the game, they will respawn very quickly. They could immediately TB back and rejoin the fight, and that's exactly what we saw. At the end of the fight, all 5 Radiant heroes were alive, but you gotta keep in mind, Chen was brought down early. I think Hunter was brought down very early as well, but they were able to join back the fight much later and still drop the Ravage. So, because they chose to fight right there under the tier 2 and tier 1. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that was fantastic patience by 570. He had about 500 opportunities where I thought he might drop the Ravage, but he waited until he had to follow up until they could actually kill someone off, and they got the Lycan. Such a huge pickoff. I mean, yes, he has BKB Vlad's Treads. Those are his sort of core items, but he's not truly devastated until he picks up maybe one more. Either some sort of damage item like a Desolator at MKB, or something that lets him tank like a Heart, or even a Necronomicon 3 for the pushing power. They need something to do with this Mirana ultimate, though. I don't think they've had Dust or Sentry Ward, still not picking anything up. And it definitely helped the Radiant to win that fight, because even though the Tidehunter was quite low when they were being chased behind the tier 2, they were able to escape decently well. Chen did finally go down, but it took a lot longer than it should have. So I got to see some detection coming out from the Dire soon. Yep.
And detection is not the only thing they need. They need a couple of towers as well. Another smoke attempt here. Looking for the Syllabear, but Syllabear will have a lot of teammate supports. And that Moonlight Shadow is back up, and they don't have detection.
His bear goes down, so he's used the cooldown of the bear. He has picked up the relic, very important. Only about 1,000 gold away from the Radiance now. He's going to be going in very aggressively on Lycan here. I don't... Oh, 3 smoked up dire heroes. This is going to be a 1 dead Syllabear. I do not see him getting out of this one alive. You said he would have backup, but where is the backup? It's not here. Oh, the Moonlight Shadow.
Now, Shackle Shot hits on Mini, and Power Shot as well. Her Tidehunter does have the Ravage. He's going to use it right now. Wolf is running around like crazy. BKB from Vada is pretty much done. He's out of mana at this point. Tower gets destroyed. I guess that's what they're all after, but I'm sure they wanted to kill on Equal as well. Pretty well defended. Shackle Shot not going to latch. Mirana hasn't used her arrow yet. No, she did. So that was the end of the fight. That was a very expensive fight on both sides. It was a smoke gank That didn't do too much damage to kill the Syllabear. Also, we drew out at least 2 or 3 teleport scrolls. So both sides losing a lot of gold in return. But the tower went to the Radiant. Went to the Dire, excuse me. And that was the first tower not denied by Mantis. Mantis was on a denying spree on all the towers. That was the first one that Dire actually got, and they sorely needed that one.
Speaking of Mantis, he is having an amazing game in terms of the farm. Mirana, and probably not the hero you would expect to be leading the charge, but already up to 160 creeps, so getting, what is that, like 6 a minute? Maybe a little bit less. My math is failing me right now. He's farming very well, certainly better than a Lycan and a Leshrac, which is not the most common thing in the world to see. Already completed the Mantis style. He's got 1,500 more gold. I feel like a BKB wouldn't be a bad choice here, although I'd love to see him just go, you know, man up and go for some straight damage items.
Yeah, it depends on how quickly that Hex is going to be finished on Tinker. Judging from the fact that we don't see any parts on the Tinker, I think it's okay to actually go for like an MKB or any kind of other DPS item. But as soon as you see Region about to go that finish the Hex, you gotta go BKB, or else you're not going to do any DPS.
Yeah, and that Hex will not only, I mean, if he ever gets it, which, you know, this is all theoretical, he's about, what, 3,500 gold away, something like that, maybe 4,000 gold away. He's pretty far from that Hex.
Right.
So this is all down the line, but of course it's also great for the Syllabear. You can permanently Hex the bear and keep that out of, you know, prevent it from entangling, which is pretty important in these team fights.
Yeah, I'm a little bit stranged out or weirded out by the BKB choice on Lycanthrope. Sure, that is the standard item choice. I feel like Necro 3 would just better suit this kind of game. Having extra DPS even when the Lycan die. Because again, you're going to be shackled up, or not shackled up, you're going to be entangled up. But you know, you don't want to lose too much DPS when that happens. Having Necro 3 for the detection against Moonlight Shadow is always good. The Mana Bird, it's just a lot of extra damage, as well as the extra aura it provides. Whereas BKB, it's standard, it's good. I don't think it's the best.
Speaking of standard item pickups, maybe not being the best, Mini's gone for a Blink Dagger. I don't know how I feel about that. There's a lot of heroes that can prevent him from blinking. Tide, of course, having that long range. Ravage, Syllabear with the bear, able to harass him with the Radiance. And of course, Windrunner with Shackle. Oh, Windrunner going to get called out. Nice smoke gank here. Windrunner just going to melt. I don't see her surviving this one. Bear comes in with the Radiance, but that's not going to be enough. And the mechanism now being completed means that the Radiance will be significantly less effective at stopping this push.
And here comes the push on Tier 2. I don't see the Tier 2 being defended here. And the question is, will they go for Tier 3? Roshan, by the way, has spawned. And of course, the Chen has been checking that one out. So Chen realized if they don't defend the Tier 2, Roshan might be very well the next target. And let's see if they're going to turn back right now. In fact, they will.
Yeah, great time to go for Roshan. You have the Black Hole. Lycan, wait, did he just pop his ultimate? No, ultimate just wearing off. So not going to have that for 50 seconds. Makes this Roshan attempt a little more dangerous. Region being chased by Mirana, who is holding on to 2,000 gold. Pops an Invis, but there is a Sentry Ward bottom. Let's see if that's going to get him into trouble. The Blink Dagger going to come in handy for Mini here, as he's kind of in dangerous territory. One thing the Blink Dagger is very good for is counter-initiating, especially if you have Lycan in the pit, the enemy team tries to go in, you can set up a nice Blink ultimate. So maybe that's what the Dire had in mind with that pickup.
They do see Mantis. He's skirting away on this Tiger, meaning very dangerous as well. He's going to be going for BKB afterwards, so going for more items that do not agree with the TIE Hunter. Here comes the push going the other way. Radiant seems like they want to get some territory back. Roshan is going to be the biggest deal for the next couple of minutes. They got to make sure that the Dire don't get it, and having a Dire advantage here for Infused, they're very happy for that. Mid tower gets sieged upon. Syllabear doing a lot of damage. That 40% demolish, very, very helpful in this regard. Is it going to be denied? No deny attempt again. And Radiant gets one for free.
Yeah, it looks like Infused might need some lessons from Mini here, as he is the only one who's been able to really keep these towers denied. That's a big push. It makes it a lot harder to control Roshan, but it looks like Infused content to give that up, sort of basically a tug of war here on middle lane. Well, not a tug of war, a push of war, I guess. Each team trying to get the lane, creep equilibrium in their favor, because that's what you need to go to Roshan. And Mantis, meanwhile, making life difficult for the Dire, going to bottom and pushing that up to 2,700 gold. Maybe we'll see a big item purchase, something like a butterfly, just because, normally you go for MKB, also because it's a little bit easier to build than a butterfly. The components are cheaper, but at the rate he's farming, either saving for buyback or going big.
Yeah, I'm very, very surprised that the creep equilibrium isn't pushed out as much of this is, because you have a Tinker, you're supposed to be able to push so much out, but it's really thanks due to the great play here from the Radiant.
Speaking of Tinker.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Always afraid of that gank. Oh my goodness, is he gonna live?
Even if he had died, totally would have been worth it. We even missed it because that Rosha had died so, or at least I did. But Rosha had died so fast that that would have been a good bait anyway. Arturia with another Aegis, kind of wondering if he's the correct choice. My reasoning being, Lycan kind of relying on that BKB as well as his ultimate. When they're on cooldown, not nearly the same hero. Maybe would be better off on the Leshrac, or perhaps even the Tinker, as they're more or less equally effective, when they respawn as well as beforehand. Either way, Aegis going to go to the Lycan, which means he should be going for another big item purchase. Now it looks like it's going to be an Assault Cuirass.
I say having it on Lesh would be vastly better, at least for this Aegis. Maybe another Aegis down the road, Lesh will be, or excuse me, the Lycan would be a better choice. But having the ability to turn on your Pulse Nova throughout the entire team fight, die, come back event, hop on BKB, and then do it again, that's a lot of AoE damage.
Uh-oh, Enigma in the middle lane, getting caught out here by a Gush. Not going to be able to use that Blink Dagger to escape. I don't think he would have lived anyway with different items, but having some tank items might have allowed his team to maybe help him. Probably not in that particular case. It's going to mean a push on the middle lane. Enigma, no buyback, just bought an Ogre X. This could mean Rex.
I'm not sure about that. Ravage is up. There is Moonlight Shadow and Hand of God, but you also got the Marching Machine, and Region is getting into position to pop that one down. Probably not going to defend it fully, but should defend it just enough time for the Enigma to come back. And you can see that he's dropping as many spells as possible. There you go. That pipe won't block the Marching Machine because it does do mixed damage. Fishbone, don't be walking into arrows, and that's not good. Here comes 5-7 walking in. Glyph is used. We're 18 seconds to the Enigma. Here comes Fata, and this is where you want the Aegis on Fata because he's not as tanky. Here comes a Poison Nova. Wow, that damage output. Mantis being forced back. Yeah, he's got sent back, and this is time for them to retreat. If you're trying to get something in return, I don't think this is a good time to chase. You don't have Enigma here. You really lack the disable.
Still no detection.
Equal again with the Jukes. Jukes on you.
Oh, man. Still no detection. Actually, they do have one Sentry Ward up on the Venomancer. But once this tower goes down, they better have Sentry Wards, or else the Radiant can just go balls deep and then Mirana ult their way to safety. And they've already done it a few times this game. I have to say, very uncharacteristic for a pro team to be so lax. They could have gotten a few kills there. I think at least one. They'd had some Sentry Wards, Dust, or even a gem. Another argument for the Necronomicon 3 is you're dealing with that Mirana ultimate. So normally Mirana not thought of or picked for her ultimate. But it's turning out to be surprisingly important in this game. Definitely allowing the Radiant to be more aggressive and go unpunished for it.
I'm also very surprised that Fata is not putting any points into his Lightning Storm. I mean, especially against this kind of pushing lineup, having any kind of AoE damage to weaken the creep wave really helps out. But hey, apparently they don't need it to defend. In fact, they're going to push a tier 2 tower with that.
Look at that tower. That is
just insane. I'm almost thinking that might be a waste on that Diabolical. There's no need for that. And they probably will want it for this tier 3. Ravage is still up. Hand of God, not so much. But meanwhile, all the ultimate here on the Dire are up as well. And they're going to use Arturia to lead the charge. A great use of the Aegis because, well, you don't want to use the Ravage just for him. But in fact, he is the one that's doing
2 Hero Shackle Shot.
And they're going to go upon that. I don't think so. The Marching Machine are just so annoying, especially if you're playing support. Walking into that Marching Machine just do big time damage. Seems like, Arturia lead the charge, and they're gonna just muscle down this Rax. Yeah, one Rax goes down, another Rax goes down. Syllabear in this case, he just does not do enough damage. 5
Radiant Heroes alive. They couldn't do anything to defend that push. That is the power of the Scourge lineup. It took them a long time to put it together. But now they do. And speaking of detection, I was talking about earlier, Lycan with a gem. So no more shenanigans in that regard. Mirana has the money soon for an MKB. Actually still about, what is that, 1,300 gold away, so a little bit of ways away. Oh wait, sorry, no, she's got the Demon Head. She's got it now, so
yeah, she's got it.
MKB up on Mirana. She is going to hurt, but of course she's still very squishy. This is one of the issues with Mirana as a carry, is she can't go for items that simultaneously let her tank and do damage. She's kind of got to get one and then the other. Whereas a hero like Lycan can get Assault Cuirass, can get BKB. These all buff his damage output immensely and make him very hard to kill.
I think it's still okay for Mirana to go for the Glass Cannon build because the Dire still has to run through a Syllabear, a TIE Hunter, a Chen to really get to her. So as long as Mirana's position is good enough, she's going to be fine. There's just too many, frontline tankers. Meanwhile, though, this Aegis now looks really good on the Lycan as there's a BKB Vlad and Assault and then still 2k go on Lycan. Lycan's pretty much maxed out at this point. He doesn't want to put the gem down because he is probably the best person to survive. He still has the Aegis, so I guess he's just saving for a big bulk of gold for necessary buybacks, for necessary another item purchase. He's got a lot of option to work with. Mini's gonna have his Mithril Hammer soon. Fada's got another 1700 gold. I do believe this will be a Bloodstone, although Acceptor would be a decent choice as well. So there's a lot of option there as well. And meanwhile, we're gonna see Hex in just about 500 gold finish on the Tinker.
Yeah, and then you're going to be feeling a little bit nervous not having that BKB. And Leshrac is not farmed poorly by any means. She's got the highest creep score in the game, but just not enough kills, not enough towers. And so, you know, now she's got the damage, but she still needs the survivability. Will she be able to get another 3,700 gold before the next push comes? I'm not so sure about that. The Dire really not relying on any long cooldown spells to push. I think, like you were saying, they're probably just waiting for that Hex, then going to look to go all in. They got the Aegis. I guess they could wait for the next Aegis and the Cheese, but I really don't think it's necessary. As you put it, they muscled down that Rex pretty easily, and they didn't have to blow anything for that. So the Radiant, you know, going to have their hands full here trying to defend this next push.
Yeah, and the cool thing with this is that Tinker could actually just farm a top lane while his teammates push mid. And once you know, Regent decides that he has enough go for his Hex, then he'll buy it and then quickly rejoin the fight. So it's not like the rest of the team depends on that Tinker to finish that Hex. He could do his own thing and still join the team.
Yeah, Equal meanwhile did complete a pipe. That'll come in handy not so much against March, but against Leshrac and the Venomancer. But I still feel like this Syllabear has a little bit of a ways to go before he's truly hitting his stride. Probably going to be looking for an Assault Cuirass next. At least I would hope that's the choice. Otherwise, this Lycan is going to just devastate your team.
Here we go. We do have Mirana, MKB finish. 100 gold in the bank. She's looking for creeps. She wants, I want creeps. Give me all waves of farm. And I think that's what Radiant needs to do. Give Mantis all the farm. She needs to get her way up to a BKB. And Dire, seems like they're grouping up for a smoke. Trying to get something going here.
I don't even know if they need to smoke. Honestly, I feel like they could just barrel down mid.
Just walk in.
Yeah, and you know, you've got the Aegis on the Lycan. You can let him sit in the front lines. Save your BKB, save your ultimate. Do as much damage to the tower as you can, and then come back and do it all over again. If they initiate on Lycan, of course, you got the counter initiation with the Enigma. With the Leshrac, I mean, really all these Dire heroes, great to sit in the back lines. So in that sense, very good synergy between them. But they're going to play it safe. Not sure what they're waiting for. Maybe it's the Hex on the Tinker. Or maybe they just want to try and find a good fight, not feeling overly confident. They are in the lead right now, so, you know, not too much urgency for them to force anything.
They are smoking up. They do see the entire Radiant team on the top. Syllabear, by the way, one key thing to point out is that he's going to resummon his bear right now. That means if that bear dies, and it will die very quickly, he's not going to have another resummon very quickly. Where the hell is his bear? Is it dead? He's just hiding somewhere? Is he not resummoning it?
I'm having trouble finding it, actually.
Anytime he's not summoning it, that's cooldown time that he's wasting. But Infused, not worrying about that. They're going to go straight in. How? Giving everyone plus damage. That tower goes down very quickly.
Oh, I think the Radiant's too late.
They grab it, and now we have Artura. He's fine. He's got the Aegis. No problem there. Fishbone, not so lucky. He does not have the Aegis. They're going to get one kill very quickly. We're going to have a BKB Wolf Form popped up immediately, but he's running right now. No backup. He's going to focus on the Eagle. Not going to do enough damage. Fata pops BKB and Pulse Nova. Not enough damage. Better off, I think, he can focus on the Rax. In fact, Artura is going to do that right now. Focusing on the Rax. Rax going down very quickly. No one helping out.
Oh!
Focus on the racks. Yes, indeed, Artura will do so. He's going to go for the range racks as well. Split up on top of everyone as well. Everyone will die. Mini's going to be dead. Fata barely will escape. Winner is going to be on his butt really soon. Shackle shot's going to latch. Yeah, Fata's going to be dead. But I think that was well worth it. That's going to be the second lane of racks. Unless the Radiant team go for a straight throw now, I don't think they could recover from this.
And I don't think they can go for a straight throw. And except for the Black Hole being down, everyone on the Dire has buyback except for Venomancer, and he's about to respawn. So they have 5 heroes if they need it. Even without the Black Hole, you're still going to have to deal with a Lycan and Wolf Form. He's always a pain. But we'll have to see. I mean, Mantis was hitting pretty hard in that fight. Channel gets popped. Looks like they're going to force it. I guess they feel like they're out of options. I can't say I blame them. There's no way you're going to be able to get the creep equilibrium in your favor to win to get the third Roshan attempt when you're down 2 sets of Rex. They're going all in, but they, you know, while there's no Black Hole, there's also no Ravage, so it's going to be pretty even in that regard. Syllabear Bear quite low.
Arrow hits on Region, that's a 5-second disable. Here comes every ultimate. Vishbom does drop his, and we have a Fata, huge Post Nova, hitting him down everyone. The AoE damage is immense, and even equal the Tidehunter and the Syllabear just too low, and they're gonna go down. That's gonna be the game in my opinion. Yes, Winner dies, Chen dies. No, Winner still barely survives. She TP's out, but with that push being well defended, that was a hammer to the face. I think this is it.
Yeah, there's not going to be any stopping this. I mean, you're still... Who has buyback here? Mirana, no buyback. She bought a Mask of Death. Not sure about that decision. It's a nice item to have. Not sure it's worth giving up your buyback for. Chen, no money for buyback. Tidehunter does have the buyback, but Ravage still down for 20 seconds. Syllabear, no buyback, I believe. Yep, no buyback on Syllabear, and the Bear's on cooldown for another 10 seconds. Anyway, it's all going to be up to Windrunner. Not sure she can defend this push.
The thing is, Infused is trying to go for the throne here, and I don't think they will actually get it. The cooldown, or the respawn timer is fairly quick. They might get a kill on the winner, and that's going to be huge. Yeah, that they do get it. Here's the thing, though. I'm not sure whether they can actually bring down 2 towers and the throne. But you do have Lycan, so that does change things up.
Yeah, Lycan gonna be poppy as well, just for the extra attack speed, as well as a little bit more damage. So I maybe should have saved that. Either way, huge Ravage coming out for Tidehunter, hitting all 5 heroes, I believe. Yes, he did. Leshrac, meanwhile, popping the BKB, Lycan popping the BKB, and they're just going to run away after getting this tower. Getting the tower for 1 or 2 deaths, not a bad idea, but like you said, maybe should have just gone for that 3rd set of racks here. This fight is absolutely all over the place. Enigma Black Hole still down for 30 seconds. Syllabear frantically chasing Leshrac. Leshrac is going to go down to that bear. Nice Shackle Shot coming out on Tinker. Tinker going to go down. And this time the buybacks are on cooldown for a couple of heroes.
Yeah, and the reason I say maybe shouldn't go for the throne, well, they couldn't go for a 3rd set of racks anyways because they had tier 2, but they could definitely at least bring down the tier 2. Now they lose the team fight in enemy base. They're lucky they lost that in enemy base because if they lost it any closer to their own towers, they might have lost their own mid racks for it. They're still okay, still 40 seconds to Lycan, and Lesh comes back. But Eco should be making a mad dash down the mid lane, try to bring down some racks. Unfortunately, his bear is dead again. That bear is just not really surviving in this engagement.
Big chase coming on the region top. Looks like Windrunner missed the Shackle Shot. Nice Hex coming out. I think we're going to see a dead Tinker here. This is huge. He just bought back. If he goes down, there's no buyback for him. Oh, he is going to die to Mirana. Too much damage. Has the Helm of the Dominator. Another 1,000 gold. This might be the opportunity to mid-push. No Ravage, though. It's going to be hard. The Lycan respawning soon, Leshrac respawning soon. They both have the BKBs. And I believe this time they'll have the buyback cooldown. It's hard to say. Maybe not, because Lycan bought a Basher, which suggests he's still waiting on the cooldown for quite a bit.
This game is a lot closer than it should be. Infused is really cutting it close. They should not get picked off in this stage of the game. Region getting picked off after a buyback, it was just absolutely huge. And here comes this push. This has to be thrown or that's it.
Where's the bear? I think the bear is dead and on cooldown. There's no Radiance right now. Oh, no Demolish either. They're still going to bring down their Axe pretty fast. Mance is doing a ton of damage.
They're not going to go for the throne. They're going to go for another Rax. What are they trying to do?
Seem very indecisive here. Killing creeps. Creeps not the thing you want to be focusing now, in my opinion, anyway. The Scourged or Dire just stalling it up. Meanwhile, the final base tower or throne tower going to be going down for the Radiant. They got to make a decision here because their throne's starting to take a little bit of damage from these melee creeps. And of course, Roshan has respawned. This time it's Aegis.
They're going to go for the win. They're gonna go for the win. They walk out. They're gonna smoke back in. Moonlight Shadow being used. Here, Fata uses BKB. Gonna do Post Nova equal a stun. Can you bring him down? No, he's gonna be absolutely fine. Fata very, very low, taking a lot of damage while he still survives. Here comes a Blink Ravage. They're gonna kill Arturia. He has no buyback. No buyback. And here we go. Eagle fully breaching the base. Matches half HP.
The throne. Throw for the Radiant.
He's hitting it. Meanwhile, the base, Chen trying to come and defend. He should start wholly persuading those creeps and start tanking up. Axe Scepter gets picked up by Fata. He's gonna come back here. The throne will survive here for the Dire. I cannot say the same for this Radiant. Someone should just sell items and BOT. That's in fact. Anyone's doing that? No, that was a defensive.
Oh, the TP got cancelled. Equal not going to make it back. He's going to drop to Atta. Arrow hits Atta, but it's not going to matter. Mirana forced to retreat. She did manage to survive. Going to be picking up a DD, but unfortunately almost out of health. Maybe we'll see some sort of backdoor shenanigans. This time, I do not see them defending. The glyph has been used. Everyone from the Dire coming down mid. Or maybe they'll play it safe, go for that Roshan, pick up Aegis Cheese. Radiant really not going to have much chance of stopping that. Ravage is down. The map control is not going their way. This game is looking like the Dire should be able to close it out in spite of arguably doing their best to throw it. But we'll have to see how they choose to play. Will they slow roll it or will they go straight for the win?
And Mantis, he's looking for
Region!
it. Oh, Region!
Oh, does he have buyback is the question. Only 1,000 gold, not enough money to buy back. That being said, Roshan is being worked on. Without Lycan, this Roshan takes forever. He does... Okay, I thought he bought Boots of Travel, just bought regular TP scroll. This Roshan taking a long time, but Radiant just not able to defend it. Either not confident or just not feeling like they have the time to get there. I think both of those are good decisions. Oh man, no glyph right now. This push is going to be so hard to stop. I cannot stress that enough.
These recent events just not working out for Infused. Lycan still picks up the Aegis. Cheese goes to Bata, and that's going to make him a boss. He still needs a little bit more armor. I feel like his next item should be an armor base item. Where it's going to be a Shiva, where there's going to be an AC, and it's just like maybe a plate mail would do it. But you know, he pops the BKB, Mirana just right click him.
Or even a Ghost Scepter wouldn't be too bad.
Scepter, yeah, Scepter isn't what? Ghost Scepter, yes.
Yeah, wouldn't be too bad. Although there's some nuke damage on the Radiant. It's nothing too crazy. But we'll have to see. Maybe he'll just be saving up to make sure he can buy back. Wait, he completed... Oh, I guess he already had the egg in him, so I'm just going to do another check. Are there any more item progression? Mirana with an Eagle Song. Oh, man, if she gets a Butterfly, that might be too much damage. Of course, while Lycan has crazy damage output, he is a melee hero, so he's fairly easy to kite, especially on a mobile hero like Mirana with the phase boots, with the Metsa. All-in smoke attempt looks like coming from the Radiant. Will Infuse get tricked again? Double smoke attempt from both teams. They're going to run into each other. If they do right here, Next.KZ going to have the high ground advantage. Oh, looks like they're going to go opposite ways. Are we going to see a backdoor attempt?
They're going to backdoor, I think.
I think they're hoping to see the Dire, maybe looking to backstab mid.
Teleport Scrolls, Mini does not. Veno does not. Fata does. Materia does not. Region does. I say you just race. Just go race now.
I don't think you're beating this Dire lineup in a base race unless they try to run back to their base, which it looks like they might be doing. Mirana ultimate pop. They're going all in for the throw.
This is gonna be a base race. The first tower is gonna go down. The second tower is gonna go down. There's a glyph here, but the lack of teleport scroll is gonna really bite them. Is this a professional?
Oh, another arrow!
He needs another arrow. The glyph is down. They're gonna focus down. Mirana gets up. Hand of God gets used. The tower gonna focus down, and Black Hole. Yes, Black Hole and everyone. Bata comes in with huge damage. We're gonna see Slurp as well. Rabbit's gonna get dropped. Venomancer gets focused down by Mantis. Throne's still very healthy in terms of HP. It seems like the Dire will defend us. Yes, Dire indeed will. Mantis is gonna get the hell out. Yes!
Oh my god, that fight. All buybacks coming out left and right. TP gets canceled. I believe that was a buyback into Boots of Travel purchase from somebody on the Radiant. Or maybe that was Tinker TP, and I could be wrong. But either way, oh man, now I think it's going to be real hard to defend this push. I keep on saying the Dire should have this, and then the Radiant, the Next.KZ pulling out every trick from the playbook. This is only game 1. No idea what they can keep in their back pockets for game 2, let alone 3 if it goes that late. But we'll have to see. I also want to point out, Syllabear, really no item progression for him, and I think that's really hurting the Radiant at this point. You'd love to see an Assault Cuirass, and maybe be working on another item, or even Treads up on the Bear, just something. There might be a bit of an engagement here. Bear going to initiate, going for the Tinker. Hero Shackle Shot coming out. Oh, and it looks like Syllabear doing a lot of damage here, like him, getting kited, not focusing Windrunner. Don't agree with this choice, but Windrunner actually going to get brought down pretty easy. Nice BKB there. No tie on a Ravage. Wouldn't matter too much anyway. Bear apparently not capable of taking out a Wolf. Not normally what you see in nature. Tidehunter still alive, finally going to go down, getting creep blocked a little bit. And I think that's going to be the game. High Furry trying to run away to delay this. Let's see if Infused get greedy and go for more kills, or just end the game.
They're just ignoring the chat. It's like, oh yeah, sure. Oh, GG's gonna be called, and GG indeed that was a one hell of a game. Very, very fun, and very, very exciting to watch. We're coming back with game number 2. That was just game 1 of best of 3.
Can Next.KZ come back, or will Infused do it in one game? We'll find out soon, folks, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Of course, this is Luminous, and joining me alongside was LD from ldOTA.com, where we'll be coming to you guys with game number 2 very shortly.